Morning folks. Well, I'm up at the crack of dawn today. I've been up since 5 a.m. It's now 6:20 and as you can see it's just getting light. I'm on a little road trip and paddle today. I'm travelling from my home in Kent over to Suffolk and I'll be paddling on the Suffolk-Essex border. It's a bit of a trip. It's mainly because of the roads. I've got the M25 and the A12 to contend with, but fingers crossed it won't take too long to get there. So as you can see, all the cars misted up, so I've got to get the car sorted out before I hit the road, and I'll see you when I'm there. Well, welcome back folks, that's me in the water now. I'm at Cattawade. It took me 2.5 hours to get here due to traffic, M25 and A12, to be expected at the time in the morning I left, but yeah, finally arrived, and it's taken me about 3/4 of an hour to actually set up and put in. Most of that's sorting the camera equipment out, to be honest, but I'm in. And I've had a gay old time while I've been setting up. I've made friends with a duck, which is it's just been following me everywhere on the kayak, literally stroked it, which I found very unusual. Where I'm very gingerly working my way through this pea soup. I just don't want it all over the kayak or all over me, not at the start. And as you can probably see behind, that's the canoe kayak platform that I've just put in. Absolutely beautiful down here, a lot of road noise, but I'm sure we'll get away from that shortly. So once I get round this bend to the right, there's a passageway down the middle where it's actually clear of this weed. So let's just turn a bit. That's it, and we're on our way. Beautiful day. If I've managed to put the earlier footage in, I left at 20 past 6 and the car was all steamed up, and it was quite foggy at that time, so but that, again, you know, it's that time of year, the temperatures are all mucked up, aren't they? You know, it's sort of quite warm, then it gets quite cold in the night, so you tend to be getting the mists. The water is as clear as anything here. I can see right through to the bottom. Absolutely marvellous. Very thick wee weed. See all the fish? So yeah, well, I'm in an aquarium. Right, I'm going to shut up for a moment and just paddle on for a bit, and I'll get back to you in a couple of minutes. I'm facing the camera forward because the sun's directly behind me, so I wouldn't be able to get the footage if I was speaking directly to you. I've just come through a very narrow bit, but, so I didn't record. I had to sort of have my wits about me. Now I'm in the open. Looks like I'm approaching, I'm not sure what it is. Looks like possibly some sort of boating club by the look of it. Absolutely stunning out here. Yes, that was a paddleboard and kayaking club that I just passed. Well, there's a big heron in front. Could you see it? Did you see it coming out the reeds there? And this river's renowned for its swans. I think I may call it Swan City. There we go, loads of swans around here. Some still quite young. Obviously I'll give them a wide berth. I think they're used to paddle boarders, canoeists and kayakers on here. Well, as you heard, I got hissed at there. I think I crept up on it. Quite a breeze on the river, surprisingly. It was dead calm when I turned up. This is quite a windy stretch I'm coming down now. So today's paddle is between Cattawade and Dedham. There is one portage. Apparently it's about 100 metre portage, which I'm a little bit concerned about with my knee issue, but we'll have to see how we go with that. And that's at Flatford Mill. So I think, yes, I mean, I'll get to Flatford Mill, see how it goes with the portage. If I can't do it, then unfortunately that'll be my turnaround point. If I do manage to get all the way down to Dedham, the paddle is approximately 8 miles. That's the return, so it's a little bit of a distance. But, the weather's good and there's no forecast for rain today, so fingers crossed we'll be all right. Such a beautiful river. Look at these willows on the right hand side. It's so scenic. We're in Constable Country, the Constable the painter, and you can see why he lived here. When we get to Flatford Mill, that is the home of the Constable family and the scene of many of his famous paintings, which I will eventually put up on the screen. Oh, how stunning. Now, this is my first time out on this river. I must admit I got quite excited about coming down. I've had this on my bucket list for well over a year, and I was supposed to come out kayaking with my lady friend at the time, who I've since split with, so it sort of went on the back burner during the winter. But here we are, end of summer, and we're out on the River Stour in Suffolk and Essex. We're now paddling down towards Weir, which is the start of the tidal River Stour, and I think from there the river narrows right down for a bit. It's quite overgrown, but apparently very scenic, so looking forward to that. Some amazing houses on the right hand side, just about see them in the distance. Absolutely stunning. I think this is the lock pool, disused lock pool. Oh, struggling here a bit, very narrow. Yes, as you can see. Looks very, very strange. Just a load of calm water and two very narrow sections. Private, no landing. There's quite a few locks and weirs on this section, over the 42-mile section, and that's mainly to control the water levels. As I said earlier, we're only portaging once on this trip out today, so but on future visits to this River Stour, or Stour, I'm sure we'll see a lot more. Very high banks right and left, probably about 12 foot on the right hand side. We're not far off it on the left, and quite deep water because I can see quite a way down. So yeah, it's fairly deep at this section. I just picked up an absolute ton of weed onto my skeg, so what I've had to do is go round and round in circles till I could free it up. I could hardly paddle forward, so I tried paddling backwards to release it. I couldn't, but when I spun round in circles, I managed to knock it off with my paddle to free me up. So onward. More swans. Beautiful creatures, but they're sitting right in the middle, making it very difficult for me to pass at a distance. Sods, aren't they? It's their river, not mine. There's very, very large clunks of weed right in the middle of the river, and that's how I made the error of picking the last lot up. I'm trying to stick to the middle, but then there's just large floating clunks to get tied up around my skeg. Right, so now we're going to go to the left of these two. Lovely breeze right in my face. Oh, this is awkward. I'm getting completely stared at. That's it, I've got past them just about. They don't move for no one. I like the swans on the River Medway. I'm hoping that on my return journey the wind's in the same direction, because literally that will really assist me coming back. But knowing my luck, it'll turn round to face me on the way back again. It's quite usual with me. I don't know if you can hear it. We're getting the wave slap on the front, so yeah, there is quite a wind blowing the water into me. Sun's to the left of me now, it's probably gleaming off me. It's a glorious day. There won't be many more of these, as we're now in mid-September, approaching the end of the summer. Right, onwards. At points there's so much weed in the water that I'm more or less grounding out. I'm dragging myself through it. Hard work. Trying to get round these swans. It's fun. Some of them don't seem bothered. I've only had one angry one so far, but they really don't give a monkeys. They'll just stand their ground. And I found out when I go on the River Medway, if you go towards them, unless they've got real young with them, you know, very young, if you know what I mean, they tend to get out of the way, but not these ones. They are proper river owners. I don't know if you can hear it, the weed is all scraping along the bottom of the boat. It's absolutely thick. Oh, get in there. Let's get through it. Oh, it's clearing a bit now. Whew. Fortunately that stuff doesn't get stuck around the skeg because it's still attached to the riverbed. It's a bugger to get through. Certainly a quiet section of river. I mean, I'm the only one out here. But once again, we are, it is during the week, not at the weekend, and schools have just gone back. So it's going to be an awful lot quieter for a little while. What do you think of the river view so far? It's different. It's completely different from the other rivers I've been on, for sure. And even though this isn't the narrow bit yet, it is very narrow. It's very, very overgrown. But then again, there's no motor launches or anything like that up this side, so it's more or less left to do its own thing, which is yeah, in some ways that's wonderful. I'm loving it. Slow progress at the moment due to all the pea soup, but we're getting there. I'm in no rush today. I can't be. I got up at 5 AM. It was all loaded. Said earlier, I believe, that I left at 6:20, and it took me quite a while. That's mainly because of the time I left. I mean, if I left an hour earlier, it would be absolute madness. I'd be here so early because it's not getting light till 6:30 now. So yeah, it's already closing in. But I'm in no rush. I'm just taking this nice and steady. If I get home at 7 or 8, I get home at 7 or 8. It's just the way it is. And you know, I've travelled 70 miles. It doesn't sound too far. You're 140-mile round trip. Now when I go down to the River Stour or Stour, the Canterbury end, it's 5 miles shorter. It's 65 miles each way, but I can generally do it in an hour and a quarter. and that's because just difference in the motorways. To come over here I have to hit the M25. I've got the Dartford crossing, and then I've got the A12, and that was the problem this morning. So it took me sort of 2.5 hours to do 70 miles. So if I get off the river at time that I deem I'm going to hit all that, I'm just going to go for a drive and hang around for a while and then go later. I just do not want to be stuck in the A12 M25 traffic. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Take it nice and easy through this bit. In fact, I'm going to have to glide through it. Hold my paddle over to one side. I think you probably just see it in shot there. Let's move over a bit. That's it, through that little bit. Beautiful overhanging tree in front of me. I made the error once. I used to run underneath these, right directly underneath them, to try and get the effect on the camera. And fortunately, well, I ended up with a fisherman's hook in my hat, which, you know, fortunately missed my eye. So it's obviously, it must have got snagged up. He's cut the line. I'm going underneath this tree nice and low, thinking, hey, this would be a good shot. And I ended up with a fisherman's hook in my hat. It took my hat off. Obviously I had to go back for my hat, and I had a hook in it. If that had been in my eye, my face, that would have been disastrous. So I'm a little bit more cautious these days. How beautiful. There's a little point you can get out to the left here, a little bank. Lovely bit of tree cover on the right. Oh, I love this. We're doing a bit of reading up or research on this section, and I'm watching a few YouTube videos to try and get a lay of the land. It is, as they said, it's really, really narrow on this bit from Cattawade down to Flatford Mill. And a lot of the videos, people don't necessarily come any further. They're coming downstream, and they get as far as Flatford Mill and tend to turn back. So I've only seen a couple, maybe 3 videos where people have come on. I mean, I know people do put in up at Catawade, but I've not seen many videos of this bit. It's absolutely stunning. This is I've personally not been on nothing like this. Even with some of the rivers I do paddle, I look at the tributaries off of them, and I can literally, I know they're just too shallow normally. You know you're just going to go so far down and you're going to get snagged up. And until last year I was using mainly using my 15.6 foot kayak. So trying to turn that around in a narrow, shallow river, it ain't happening. It's like being out in the jungle. It's beautiful. I'm just going to glide through this bit. So, how narrow's narrow? That's it. We'll get through. Get a smack in the face, won't it? That's it. Right our way through, you can hear the paddles bashing into everything. Oh, a bit wet on that one. Here's the weir. I'm glad I got insect repellent. I got some on, because I think going through those bushes on that section could have got eaten alive. Right, stop for a minute. So this is the weir that marks the beginning of the tidal section of the River Stour. Not running very fast, is it? Now we do a sharp right with fork right, and then onwards to Flatford Mill. Lovely bit of cover here, look. Oh, it's stunning. Loads of wildlife to the sides. I'm just sort of looking to the sides, and I can just see all sorts of wildlife. It's a nice point to the left to get out if you wanted to. Stretch your legs. What a beautiful, what a wonderful canopy of trees. I think this section of the river just deserves absolute silence, just to take in the view in the moment. What do you think, people? Stunning, isn't it? Yeah, no, I've seen a couple of videos showing bits of this, but it's nothing like the experience of actually coming here and paddling it. Some people think, you know, you watch it on video, what's the point? You've more or less like spoiled the fun, but oh, this is just yeah, it looks good. It looks good on video, but wow. Whew. That's proper perked me up. It's strange, you know, calmed me down, but at the same time, it said pins and needles through my legs, just energy, wonderful. Well, if this section's anything to go by, this river is going to turn out to be the most beautiful river I've paddled so far. Absolutely no doubt. I mean, I think the sheer lack of any motorised vehicle just makes it completely different. But you really got to work this section, you know. In fact, at times I'm paddling too fast at the moment because I'm then struggling to turn. I'm having to dig my paddle in to turn, so I just need to slow down and just take it in. Oh, the river's widened right out now. That was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to going back through that on the way back. And that'll be quite a good photo opportunity. Now I've sort of come through it and know what to look for. And I think we're now approaching Flatford Mill. Yep, I'm going to pedal down just slightly and I'm going to come back to the canoe platform. We'll just go down to the lock and turn round. You can hear the weir. Oh, how stunning. I'm in the lock pool. And there is a very, very famous property. Let's turn and I'll give you a bit of history on it.
Flatford Mill is a Grade 1 listed watermill on the River Stour at Flatford in Suffolk, England. According to the date stone, the mill was built in 1733, but some of the structure may be earlier. The mill was owned by the artist John Constable's father and is noted along with its immediate surroundings as the location for many of Constable's works, which include Flatford Mill, seen on a navigable river, 1816. The White Horse, 1819. And Hay Wain, 1821.
Well, there you go with the stunning backdrop of Flatford Mill. I'll call this video a day. So that was an absolutely superb paddle down in Cattawade, and now I'm gonna have a spot of brunch and nice cup of coffee, and then hopefully paddle on down to Dedham. So I hope you've enjoyed part one of this paddle out, and if you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in part two. Bye for now.